Okay, so let's get started with MapReduce today. Okay, this was today. Today's session is, a long-awaited one. We've been thinking about MapReduce right from first class, and there were questions there. So today is the time when we'll get answers to all those questions. So are you guys able to see the screen? Okay, we'll try to understand where MapReduce is used. Okay, what were the traditional ways of solving problems which MapReduce is solving today in earlier days. Okay, we'll also understand how does a MapReduce program look like. We'll do at least 4 Java programs today. Okay, we'll show you 4 Java programs today at least. Okay, we will also discuss a little bit about Hadoop streaming. Okay, which is a way to actually run Java, run code without run MapReduce code without Java. Okay, so we'll discuss a little bit. We'll not go into the detail here. We'll understand the concept of combiner and partitioner, obviously other than the map and reduce. We'll also understand the data flow. We'll understand how the input splits are done, and then some of the input-output formats. Okay, so these are the topics we're going to cover today. It might be a slightly long session. I'll try to finish it in 3 hours, but in case there are questions, we might extend a little bit by around 15-20 minutes. Okay, not more than that. It will not be a long one. Okay, it will not be a 4-hour session, that I can assure you. Okay, so let's get started, guys. Let's see where some of the applications, this is not an exhaustive list, but these are some of the applications where MapReduce is used today. Okay, and there is a lot of scope in other places as well where you can use MapReduce. Okay, so what I expect from all of you is that you keep on just keep typing on the chat window whenever you have a question or you are okay. So just keep on giving me a heartbeat without my asking you. Okay. Good morning, Amit. So Amit, we've just started 1 minute back. We just discussed about the list of topics. Okay. And now I'm just starting where MapReduce is used. Okay, so these are some of the use cases. Weather forecasting, and you have huge weather data coming from multiple sensors, and that data is kept at multiple locations, and you want to do a forecasting based on the data which you have. So you may have a data of the whole century, and you may want to forecast when the next monsoon will come or what will be the temperatures going forward. So this is one place where processing speed is very important. Getting good processing is very important, and MapReduce finds a utility there. Okay, we'll also see how traditionally these things are solved. Again, a very similar situation is in healthcare as well. Yes, Rahul is asking, can MR be used for predictions of earthquakes and tsunamis, etc.? Well, predictive analysis, yes, definitely. MapReduce will be the programming backbone to get that data and process it. What processing you want to do it, what analysis you want to do will be done by a front-end analytical tool. It could be R, for example, right? If people know about R is a programming language which is used as a front end to Hadoop these days. It's an open source thing, and that is actually used to do the analysis, predictive analysis. Okay, now MapReduce is used to crunch that data very fast, to get that data and do a fast retrieval of that data. Okay, we'll also see why MapReduce and why not other things. Yes, it can definitely be used to predict anything. Okay, it is not really MapReduce which is used to do the prediction. It is some other tool which will be used for the analysis. But MapReduce will help that tool. It will be the data store for that tool. Okay, to get the data from Hadoop. Okay, is that fine, Rahul? Now, the other utility of MapReduce is healthcare. Okay, where huge amount of imagery data is there, some video data will be there, different sensor data will be there. Okay, and we want to do a very good analysis on this huge amount of data to understand if there are problems and issues like that. Okay, so that's one more area where then there is a utility sector, oil and gas industry. There are also huge amount of data is there. So what I want to tell you here is that wherever there is a huge amount of data, as we saw in the class 1, okay, MapReduce can be used to do the processing. Hadoop can be used to, HDFS can be used to do the data storage, and MapReduce will be used to do the processing. Okay, so let's take an example of one of these industries and look at one data set. Okay, let me show you something here. Now I'll also show you this data from this place. Okay, so now this is the data. This is the data from a weather. This is the weather data of all the years. Okay, let me show it to you. Show this data right from this website. So you can also open it and you can see that whenever you get time. Let's look at one of the data sets. Let's look at the data sets here. Okay, so basically, if you look at this, right, there were huge number of files. Now this is one of the data sets, okay, which is which has a ID here. Okay, there's the station ID or something, and then this is the date, right? And then there is one column which shows the maximum temperature, one column which shows the minimum temperature. Let's see which one are those columns. Yeah. So basically, if you open this README file, I mean, I will send you the path to it. We'll be doing some exercises on this data itself. Okay. So if you look at this README file, which is there along with this data, it says this is the Weiban number, which is the basically identifier for the station on this, for where this data is taken. Then the columns are standard, the time here. Okay. LST underscore date. Then you have the longitude and the latitude here. Then there is the column number 39 to 45 is the daily max temperature, and there is the daily min temperature. Okay, so this is the README file which tells you how this data is formatted. Okay, now this is an unstructured file, log data. The formatting is here, shown here, and if you look at this data, this is how it is. So basically, I believe column number 39 will be somewhere, probably this one. This one is the maximum temperature. This is the minimum temperature. Okay, well we can figure that out. That's not the point here. The point is that this is the format in which you will have actual data in real life. There is an actual data set which we have taken from this website, and we'll see how to process this data fast. Okay, and what are the challenges in processing this data. Now, I mean, I'm sure a lot of you are from Unix background. Okay, and you would have seen and you've done some log processing earlier. So can someone tell me what was the way, if you had such a thing, and if I had asked you to tell me in this full file, find out the maximum of this row and minimum of this row. Okay, the maximum temperature and the minimum temperature. What would you have done? No problem. If you're in Windows background also, how would you process this? If you had this file, how would you do that? Will you write what program, what scripting language, what commands you'll use? From your background, whatever you would do, can you please tell me that? I want everyone to answer that. How will you handle such a situation if you had this? Okay, so I have a couple of answers. Vinayak tells me using grep. Dayanand tells me bubble sorting. And Vijay tells me in the Windows world there is a utility called log parser, with which you can get all sort of metrics, okay, and graphs. Okay. What else? Anyone else who, I mean, I want everyone to actually think about this and answer it. It is very important. We cannot be only listening to this. Okay. So Jitendra, Amit, Abhishek, I want everyone, I mean, it's okay if you do not know the right answer. Okay. But okay, yeah, that's also one way. Put data in a temp table and find min and max. Yeah, right, Abhishek. I want everyone to answer, Vikas, and everyone to actually answer this. At least think about it for a while, and then only we'll be able to appreciate the problem. So Narayan, Shyam, everyone, I want you to answer this. Okay. Okay, so I have answers from almost everyone. That's very nice. So everyone has thought about it. Now, my question could be that, yes, so Satyam has given me a very good answer. We can even use Excel function max and min. Right, definitely, that's one way. Excel is a very good analytical tool. So definitely that is one way of doing it. Now, let me ask you another question now. So if I tell you that out of all these days, classify them as hot or cold days depending upon If the temperature rises above 40 on a certain day, put it as max, and if the temperature goes below say 15, then put it as a cold day. Okay, if we had to do that. So similarly, some people are saying about SQL queries, yes. So it is not a very difficult problem to solve. It is a solved problem. So what is the problem then? I mean, it's not a very difficult thing to solve. If I had to do that, I'll probably write a awk program in Unix to do that. Okay, if people do not know about awk is a data parsing utility in Unix, and I think Vinayak must be knowing about it since he told me about grep. But anyways, there are multiple ways of yes, awk inside, right? So Vinayak, since you know about it, I want your homework will be to on this data set write a awk utility. Okay, write a awk script to actually send us back the results of on all the days, classify these days as good, hot or cold days. Okay, so that's something I want Vinayak you to do using awk. For the others, whoever has given this answer that how you're going to do on this data set, you should go and try that and send that answer back. I do not mind whatever way you use for that. Okay, is that fine with everyone? So whatever you've told me today that I'm going to do this, I want you to actually go back and try that out. Okay, so that you get a feel of how traditionally we were going to use it. Okay, is that fine, Abhishek, with you as well? And great, sure. So that's one thing which we want to do. Then only we'll be able to appreciate the problem. Now, so we've all of us have given some answer and all the answers were right. Okay, there was no wrong answer in this. So then what is the challenge? Can someone tell me what is the challenge here in this case? So you have a large data set, right? Great. So Satyam tells me if the data set becomes large, then Dayanand tells me, okay, Amit, what you have to do, let me just repeat that for you. The data set which I showed you, I want you to find the minimum and a maximum temperature on each day, okay, and then classify that date as either a hot day or a cold day using a traditional way, whatever you would think of. Okay, size of the data, right? Now see, this is, so everyone understands that the challenge is not in processing this log. If this was say a few KB or a few MB log or even a few GB log, no one would have cared about it. You could have easily done that, right? Now the problem comes when this data set becomes huge. Okay, now think of it this way. Every day you have these things being stored for each across the world. Okay, so there will be huge amount of data, terabytes of data which will be there, and as we've seen earlier also, I mean it's very difficult to retrieve that data and do that thing, do the processing on that, right? So now one way of doing it traditionally was this, right? Now what this means is, if you have a very big data, split that data. This is the concept. Okay, split that data. Do a grep. Grep is a command of in Unix to match regular expressions. Okay, so someone who doesn't know about that, don't worry. Grep is a command to do that. Okay, you have a huge data set, process it in parallel, split this data, use grep, then look at the matches, and then do a cat, and finally get a result. Okay, so this will tell you this divides the huge data. Then you take out the important data out of that, whatever you want to do that, whatever matches, you do a cat. Cat is a utility to combine all these things to get a result. Okay, so this is the way of doing it, right? So now even if the data set becomes large, you can use this, isn't it? So then what do you think could be the problem? If you had to write such a program which could do all these things on a large data set, you split that data set and then you do a grep. Assume that grep will solve your problem, then do a match and then do a cat. Can someone tell me what could be what is the problem in this scenario? Can you think about that? Or what are the challenges in writing such a program? Well, it will not take more time because you've anyway split the data, right, Vinayak? So even if it was 1 terabyte of data, you could have actually split this data into 1 GB, 100 or 1000 files of 1 GB, run it in parallel in different machines using grep, okay, and then do the matches and then do the cat. You can still store it in HDFS, right? On HDFS also you can run such commands, right? So tell me what is the challenge? I mean, if we know we can store it in a distributed fashion. Now, last time we had the challenge of when we did that exercise of number of minutes, the challenge was how long will it take to read the data. Okay, Amit is telling me splitting of data. Okay, so what is the challenge, Amit, you see with splitting of data? Jitendra, Rahul, Satyam, Vijay, everyone, I want everyone to think about this.